Judah, one of the 12 sons of Jacob, left his father's house and went to stay with a man of Adullam named Ira. While there, Judah met the daughter of a Canaanite whose name was Shua. He married her and made love to her. Then she became pregnant and gave birth to a son, who was named Er. She became pregnant again and gave birth to a second son, and named him Onan. And then came the third pregnancy, which brought forth the third son, who she named Shelah. The time came when Judah got a wife for Er, his firstborn, and her name was Tamar. But Er, Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord put him to death. Then Judah said to Onan,
"Sleep with your brother's wife and fulfill your duty to her, as a brother-in-law, to raise up offspring for your brother."
But Onan knew that the child would not be his.
"Since she will not bring forth my child, I will not do this."
So whenever he slept with his brother's wife, he spilled his semen on the ground to avoid providing offspring for his brother. What he did was wicked in the Lord's sight, so the Lord also put him to death. Judah then said to his daughter-in-law Tamar,
"Here's what you would do. Go to your father's house and remain a widow until Shelah my son is grown."
For he thought,
"He may die too, just like his brothers."
So Tamar went to live in her father's household. After a long time, Judah's wife, the daughter of Shua, died. When Judah had recovered from his grief, he went up to Timnah to the men who were shearing his sheep, and his friend Hira, the Adumalite, went with him. When Tamar was told,
"Your father-in-law is on his way to Timnah to shear his sheep,"
she took off her widow's clothes, covered herself with a veil to disguise herself, and then sat down at the entrance to Enaim, which is on the road to Timnah. For she saw that though Shelah had now grown up, she had not been given to him as his wife. When Judah saw her, he thought she was a prostitute, for she had covered her face. Not realizing that she was his daughter-in-law, he went over to her by the roadside and said,
"Come, let me sleep with you.
"And what will you give me to sleep with you?
I send you a young goat from the flock."
Will you give me something as a pledge until you send it?"
He said,
"What pledge should I give you?"
"Everything I'm looking at. Your seal and its cord and the staff in your hand."
Haha. I thought you said give you something. But you taking all my things. You know how to bargain, I see. Okay, let's go.
So he gave them to her and slept with her, and she became pregnant by him. After she left, she took off her veil and put on her widow's clothes again. Meanwhile, Judah sent the young goat by his friend the Adumalite in order to get his pledge back from the woman, but he did not find her. He asked the men who lived there,
"Where's the temple prostitute who was sitting on the roadside at Enaim?"
They said,
"There hasn't been any temple prostitute."
So he went back to Judah and said,
"I didn't find her. Besides, the men who live there said there hasn't been any shrine prostitute there."
Then Judah said,
"You know what? Let her keep what she has or will become a laughingstock. After all, I did my part and sent her this young goat, but didn't find her."
About 3 months later, Judah was told,
"Your daughter-in-law Tamar is guilty of prostitution, and guess what? She's now pregnant."
Judah said,
"Bring her out and have her stoned to death."
As she was being brought out, she sent a message to her father-in-law.
"The man who got me pregnant is the rightful owner of this."
She said, and added,
"See if you recognize whose seal and cord and staff these are for me, please."
Judah recognized them and said,
"She is better than me, more righteous."
And he did not sleep with her again. When the time came for her to give birth, there were twin boys in her womb. As she was giving birth, one of them put out his hand. So the midwife took a scarlet thread and tied it on his wrist and said,
"This one came out first."
But when he drew back his hand, his brother came out, and she said,
So this is how he broke at your womb.
And he was named Perez. Then his brother, who had the scarlet thread on his wrist, came out, and he was named Zerah. What was your takeaway from this story? For me, it was 1. God works through imperfect people. Despite the fact that Judah was one of the brothers who sold his brother Joseph, mistreated Tamar, engaged in sexual misconduct, God still chose his lineage to bring forth the Messiah, Jesus. Your past mistakes don't disqualify you from being a part of God's plan. Let that sink in. Number 2, because we're all imperfect beings, we need not judge others. Judah was quick to condemn Tamar for sexual immorality, not realizing he was guilty of the same sin. 3, don't withhold what's rightfully due to others. And when we make a promise, we should honor it. Judah failed to fulfill his obligation to Tamar by withholding his son Shelah. Tamar acted boldly to claim justice when the system failed her. In those times when women had very little voice or power, to be publicly declared righteous in front of a whole community and also vindicated was honor. God honors those who stand up for justice. Number 4, God does not overlook the marginalized. Tamar, a withered woman with no power or voice in society, was not only vindicated and honored in that moment when Judah confessed publicly, but she is listed in the genealogy of Jesus through her son Perez. If you feel mistreated or forgotten, God sees you and he will lift you up. Number 5, bold faith can and will lead to breakthroughs. Tamar took great risk culturally and personally, believing something greater was possible for her and her family. Sometimes it takes courage and faith to move forward when no one else is fighting for you. Number 6, God's plan surpasses human traditions. The custom of levirate marriage, marrying a brother's widow, was meant to protect family lines. Judah's family failed, but God's plan still moved forward, unconventionally. In my own words, I would say God got to the quote-unquote root of the matter, and that was Judah. God's will isn't bound by culture or flawed systems. He can work beyond human rules. Number 7, the rejection of God's law will lead to death. In those days under Moses' law, when a man dies leaving his wife with no son, she should not be married to a stranger. Her deceased husband's brother shall take her in marriage and perform the duty of a husband's brother to her, which means the first son she bears will carry on the name of the dead brother so that his name will not be blotted out or be forgotten from Israel. This is found in Deuteronomy 25 verses 5 and 6. But why did God kill Onan, one may ask? God looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16 verse 7 says, man looks at the outward, but God looks at the heart. The lesson here is, destruction will come to those who reject God or reject his law. Onan was killed because he rejected the law. The law, which is found in Deuteronomy, was a part of the Pentateuch, which meant it made up God's word, and he outrightly rejected it. And so it is a lesson for us that we should be careful how we are rejecting God's word, rejecting his commandments, because when we do these things, we are rejecting God. I hope this story was a blessing to you as it was for me. God bless you.